I think there are 3 doors Tom Brady could choose to walk through this offseason. One is retirement. He's made it very clear he does not want to do that. And by the way, I hate when people go on television and say, you know what, Brian Westbrook, I would feel better as a football fan if you ended your career only wearing a Philadelphia. Man, that ain't my business.
Right.
Play as long as you want to, as you can. That is your. So people that are like, well, for Brady's legacy, do you really want to see him? Who cares? It's his career. It's his life. So I'm not going to ask someone to retire until they want to retire. And he doesn't seem to want to retire. The other door is New England. To me, the only remaining door is the Chargers. With respect to my good friend Colin Cowherd, I cannot close my eyes and envision Tom Brady and his family moving to Indianapolis to play for the Indianapolis Colts, no matter how good their offensive line is. As good, as potent as I think, even with a lesser Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Bruce Arians' offense would be, and they need a quarterback if they move on from Jameis. Think Tom Brady's going to tell Giselle we're moving to Tampa? Like, I don't. Hey, honey, we're moving to the 3rd best city in Florida. Get excited. I just don't see that happening either. They own a home in L.A. L.A. has immense weapons. L.A., even if they have some of the same concerns that I have about Brady's deteriorating skills, they need someone to attract fans to their new stadium. They need somehow to climb the ladder as far as interest in Los Angeles. For all those reasons, I think L.A. is the only option other than New England, and I'm not certain New England is going to be an option if he wants to make $25+ million, because I don't know if Bill Belichick's going to offer him that.
So you think that Giselle is going to say, Tom, you got to go to a team that doesn't give you the best opportunity to be successful, that doesn't give you the best opportunity to win because I want to live in a better city? That's not how it's going to work. No, I wouldn't think she'd ever do that. And Tom is going to evaluate these situations based off where he has an opportunity to win. What's he used to doing? He's used to winning on a consistent basis. And that means that there's got to be a structure in place that allows him to be the best Tom Brady he can be, which means you've got to run the system that he's used to running. And that's a mistake that sometimes happens when great players change and they go into a different system. They're not as great because it's not what best fits the skill sets they have. So when we had Brett Favre, we had to make adjustments. We had to bring and do things that Brett did. When they brought Peyton Manning to Denver, they did things that Peyton Manning did, and that gave them a chance to be successful. And I think it's the same situation here. Tom's best opportunity to be successful is in New England with Josh McDaniels, with that system, with that organization. If he wants to go somewhere else, no one's going to begrudge him that, but it's definitely not going to be based off of where's the nicest place to live.
I'm sorry, Rich, real quick, can I follow up? I just think the Chargers, I agree that the Chargers wouldn't be on the board if they were not a competent organization. They won 12 games a year ago. They have, I believe...
with the quarterback that they have, who had very similar statistics to the quarterback we're talking about.
Except for this, and let me defend Tom Brady for a moment here. A, I think Tom Brady, in his mind's eye, thinks he's better than I think he is. B, the Chargers' problem this year was Phillip Rivers was a turnover machine. Brady, even as his skills have fallen off, he doesn't turn the ball over. They have immense weapons. And I think they have as good as skill position talent as any team in the league outside of Kansas City. So I don't think, I agree with you. Even if LA is a great city and they own a home there, if the Chargers had the profile of the Bengals next year, like, be lucky to win 4 games, I don't think that's sellable. I just think I think the Chargers are a little better positioned to succeed than you do.
I think the Chargers, just to your point, have much better weapons. The Chargers have the weapons that Tom Brady wanted in New England this season. But I think, Coach, you made a great point about the system. He would have to change systems. He would have to change his livelihood, change everything that he's been doing the same for the last 19 years. I remember I spent 8 years in Philadelphia, and I spent 1 year in San Francisco. And that entire year I was in San Francisco, the only thing I could think about is, well, they do this different than they did in San Francisco. They do that different than they did in Philadelphia. And so for me,
and when you were learning the playbook, it was always equating it back to something.
Absolutely. You're always trying to think, how does this equate back to what I did before? And that's the hardest part. And for Tom Brady, when you're at the end of your career, much closer to the end than you are to the beginning. It's harder for older quarterbacks, old dogs learning those new tricks. That's something totally different. And I think that a creature of habit like Tom Brady doesn't want to have to go through a thing like that towards the end of his career.
Well, why not Miami? Like, why isn't Miami in this mix?
I don't think Miami, to me, the lack of weapons and the lack of ability to compete for championships.
They're building as well. They're
They're also loaded with draft picks. They traded away so many players to set themselves up.
I guess I think the Chargers are in a far better position for next season. And I don't think Brady's looking at it like, well, we have all these first-round picks who in 3 years will be really good players.
But I don't think this might not be Brady's choice. The Patriots have to want to be able to pay him $25 million.
Correct.
The Chargers have to want to dig out one 40-year-old quarterback and put another soon to be 43-year-old quarterback. We might not be afforded the luxury of being able to choose where he wants to go. I'm not sure. We keep assuming, well, if he doesn't go anywhere, he'll just go back to the Patriots. Do you even think the Patriots would want him back?
I think at the right price, obviously. The question is, what's the price?
Because we heard Tom Brady doesn't want to take a hometown discount anymore.
That's what is being reported, and I don't blame him for that. And I think he still probably is going to take a little bit less than most would expect a quarterback of his stature to receive, but not way less. We're not talking about in the teens as far as millions of dollars as he has in the past. If the Patriots wanted Tom Brady back at any price, he'd be back. That is the part of this that sometimes I feel like I'm in crazy town. We saw the Patriots reject him coming off a championship. We saw it. We saw Brady then have a press conference where he said to the media, not so sarcastically, well, I don't know if I've earned the extension. I guess you should ask Mr. Kraft. And the next day put his house on the market. And also, the one thing they gave him in that renegotiation is they put a clause in the contract saying we will not and cannot franchise tag you. The writing's on the wall of him flirting elsewhere because he was forced to. I think he wants to finish his career as a Patriot. Again, this is not an indictment on Tom at all. This is Belichick, his cold, calculated decision-making. And if he forces Tom to make a decision, I think the place that makes the most sense is the Chargers.
And look, with any negotiation, there's got to be a belief on the other side that you'll walk. There's got to be the belief that you'll go somewhere else. And he's positioned himself to say that, okay, I'm serious. I could potentially go somewhere else. And I think that changes the negotiation a little bit. If you don't think that anybody's going to leave, then you may not give your best offer.
Well, he's shown everything. He's put his house on the market. His trainer put his house on the market. He cleaned out his locker, and he now moved into a house in Greenwich. So we shall see what happens. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.